Call for motion to change the agenda.
We need your name and one number, please. We want to move the election up so that people that want to complete the election will leave it done. So we're switching.
Motion made to change it.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
Name and lot number, please.
Melissa Gill, 518.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Motion carried. We have approval of the minutes from the previous year, please.
There's a big missing part of last year's minutes. Everybody that gave their, what they were going to bring to the community, there's nothing in here about your presentation person that you gave to the people. And your presentation last year that you, when you were running for the board, you spoke to the people on their call. It's not even in there in these minutes. You're eliminated, and that needs to be happening. Yeah, I was like, why is first speaking?
Did you get elected?
Yeah, he got elected.
So do we have an approval for the minutes short of Bruce being eliminated?
Motion to approve.
With the addition of Bruce's.
What did you say, Cindy?
So with the addition of Bruce's statements, I'll make the addition.
Yeah, as long as it's in the minute.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Election of directors.
Okay, we're going to do our best this year to try to make this simple. We made some changes. First order of business I have is to give a public thank you to Christine Osborne for extenuating some circumstances. She had to resign, but she did an outstanding job on working on delinquent dues collections. And when she stepped aside, she offered to help the board with delinquent dues collections in the future. So if you put your hands together, Christine. This year, there are 2 positions open. We have one 3-year term and one 2-year term on the COA side. We have one 3-year term on the corporation side. The candidates that are running this year are Dave Schaefer, located over here to my right, Sidney Shanfield, located next to Tom, and Gary Gasamarati, located over here against the wall. And of course, the corporation has Bill Barnhart for a 3-year election. That being said, I'd like to entertain a motion to place those people up as candidates. So I have a motion to place those people up for election. Name and lot number.
And Road 258.
Do I hear a second? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The next order of business, are there any nominations from the floor? No nominations from the floor?
Motion to close nominations.
Motion to close nominations. Do I hear a second?
Second. Machine T161.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm going to go over this twice, once now and once before you vote. If you've already voted, you have to listen very carefully. You were handed two ballots, a blue one and a white one. When it comes election time, we're gonna take the three candidates that are located on the board. We're gonna ask you to vote for one. Then we're gonna collect those blue ballots. We're gonna quickly go into the kitchen and count them.
Why?
And then we're gonna come back up. I'll erase the person who got the most votes. That person will receive a 3-year term. Then you'll take your white ballots and you'll vote on two of the candidates that are left. And again, we'll count those. Leading vote getter will get a 2-year term. Okay. I'll go with that once it comes closer. Now it's time to allow the candidates to speak. Gus, you want to start off?
Push both buttons to the bottom. Push both buttons for a moment.
Go closer. Can you hear me now? I kind of came into here figuring I was gonna wing it this morning. I've pretty much posted online most of the things that I feel I would like to see published in the GYR. I know some of you agree with things, some of you will disagree with things. But I really feel that we can move forward by having discussion, calm, peaceful, and not going after each other. As far as what I want to do for the GYR, one of the key things is to be a person who follows fiduciary responsibility. That means that I'm responsible to you. I'm responsible to put what you as an organization want first. What I want doesn't really matter. Will I discuss things with you? Will I try to give you input as to why I think things should go a certain way or not? I'll go that way. And having heard all of the input, I'll try to make the best decision possible. That's pretty much all I have to say. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I don't know if that's part of this or, I don't know if anybody has any questions. I don't know if that's part of this or not. If not, if it is, I'm open to questions. If you want to move it along, that's fine with me too. Are there any questions? Go ahead.
Can you explain to us, because there's some confusion concerning Act 115? My understanding of the law was passed 500 or more people, HOA, DOA, requires an outside firm to monitor the voting process. Can you explain to us better terms than I stated, please?
I will admit to you that that became something that I ran into this week. Prior to that bringing up by somebody on the internet, I was not all that familiar with it. My understanding of it, and I'm not a lawyer, but my understanding of it is that the election is to have a person who is either, for example, a lawyer, an accountant, whatever, count and certify the vote. Whether that is true or not, that's my understanding of it. that may have been something that should have been brought in to our legal counsel to find out whether that is the case or not. I don't know if there's anybody here that could answer that question better. I would yield to whoever wants to field that one above and beyond me.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Anyone else?
Second candidate, Sydney Chantel.
Good morning, all. I think everybody can hear me on this. I was told this morning I get 5 minutes of fame. I'm not a big person on fame or taking 5 minutes of your time for no reason. I think most people know me. If not, I'm Sydney Chantel, resident of the community here. We've lived here on and off for 14, 15 years. I'm a homeowner here as well, up on Black Bear. My whole goal for serving on the board and representing our community is the fact that I have 3 young children in this community. And I want to see the betterment of this community for them and for all of us. And I have been witness to much inaction, arguing, bickering, everything like that. And I feel that I have a boisterous enough voice to push beyond all that and make actionable progress towards bettering the community. So that's really my platform in a nutshell. And if anyone has any questions, then please feel free to ask. Yes, ma'am.
Children Macklin, 518. Okay, Cindy, I was reading on some of the papers that we have here. You made a statement about the 11-month rule. Okay, that if this 11-month rule is into effect, then you probably couldn't write.
Why would that be the case?
Well, because you put on here that you work, and you may have to work on a Saturday,
Correct.
or you want to go on a vacation, which, again, would take away. So this maybe 2 weeks, okay?
Yes.
All right, so you would be under the limit for 11 months. So, my question is, if they do let you run,
Yes.
and if you do go over the 11 months, so you only get to the 10 months, 9 months, whatever it is, do you give up your seat? Or does anybody give up their seat on this board because they haven't made the 11-month rule?
Is there an 11-month?
Is there a-
I have not acknowledged the fact of the precedence for the 11th rule. I feel that would be a bylaw change that has to be voted upon the ownership of the community.
That it was 11-month rule.
I was not present on the board at the time.
I'm just saying, if this is the case, and you now get elected, or they
Yes.
let you get elected.
Correct.
I don't want to say let you get elected, but if they let you run,
Yes.
then if you do not make the 11-month rule, do you have to leave? Do you turn up your seats? What is the 11-month rule? Since you're a new guy,
Yes, I believe.
I'm just curious, what do you do?
I feel that any rule in place that's governed by the covenants and bylaws should be voted upon the property ownership in a majority vote. So I don't see a valid aspect to that rule. The motion that was made by the board prior to my position on it. In the case, as I said, I do have a life, I have a family, I have a job, and if I want to go on vacation, then absolutely. Act 115 also allows for me to participate in these meetings via electronic means,
Well, they didn't want yours.
That only against women?
which we have participated in the meetings
But
via
I want to
electronic means.
stop it, I want to stop, that's why, I just want
I
to
have,
know.
I have seen no motion to stop
Everybody on
that.
this board falls below the 11-month rule.
Yes,
Are you going to quit? Do we have to throw you out? Why is the
That's
11-month rule put into place?
I mean, that is the problem, that is the power of the ownership of this community.
I know it is.
Yes.
So I'm gonna act. We're gonna let anybody, say Bruce gets sick, and he has to miss 2 weeks or 2 months. Is that a different circumstances than just going on vacation? I mean, if you're medically sick in your hospital, you know down, you know darn well can't be here.
Yes.
Okay, so, I guess I'm understanding this. Is the 11th month rule in effect? Somebody.
It's not mandatory to get the 11.
There should
Say
be.
what?
Somebody gets sick, somebody, you can miss.
Once.
The rule always has been here, if a board member misses 3 meetings in the course of the year, they can be removed.
Okay, so it's 3 meetings now, not just one.
That's always been the rule from the beginning of time.
So in other words, you just don't have to be here for 9. Correct? That's okay. That's all I
In
want
a
to know.
circumstance, you can't prevent somebody from not getting sick, or
Exactly.
if somebody goes on vacation.
Right,
I
it
mean,
works.
I mean, we were flexible. Bush Keeper, he was on here for 10 years, when he got sick, his leg for, we held the meetings at his house.
That's all, that's a good way to say. I'm not just saying this, the young man has to work, and God love you, you're working, most candidates, they're really don't want to work. You're working. You want to take a vacation, I sure as heck don't blame you for that, working down the very end. I'm just saying, if you go past that, you guys wanted it in 1 month. What happened? What happened? That's all I want to know. Do you stay? Does everybody? I just want to know what happens. Because you can go on vacation, you won't be sick. Hopefully you're fine. But, you know, I just want to know what happens.
The way I understood it, you have to be available. You have to be able to make the meetings.
You can on Zoom.
All right, so you have to be able to make the meetings. If he's on vacation, he's on Zoom, just like Jewish state. That's not what I'm asking. All I'm saying is if for this reason, he cannot make even Zoom, even if he does Zoom, it's not good anymore, does he have to quit? Because she got, grandfathered in, or whatever you call it, because she's already on board. The new guy, right, he does. After a year for 11 months, tell me what's gonna happen if that doesn't happen. That's all I wanna know.
It's 3 strikes was always, if you miss 3 meetings.
Where did the 11 months, the 11 months come?
That's
It's
a
in the
decision of
minutes.
the board. Okay, that's a power of the board. The board can remove, replace, etc. That's in accordance with the bylaw.
Okay,
So actually, the board has the power, if they miss 1 month, they can do it. If they miss 3 months, they should do. Because that rule's on record. But that's the guidelines we're gonna go by.
But it's not valid.
Yeah, there's a gentleman in the back. And then we'll get to yours, Larry. This gentleman's before you.
Jeff Locker, T-186.
Yes, sir.
I think that a clarification of the vote that took place in their general session we were behind with the 11-month rule got misconstrued between full-time and part-time, and you had to live here 11 months. And I think that the vote itself was for making a certain amount of meetings and not actually living here, so it wasn't a full-time thing or a part-time thing. I think it was just being able to make the meetings 11 months, and it didn't state how to make the meetings. So I think that when that arrived, that vote came up from previous meetings from here, from the floor, when the question came up, how much involvement do you want a board member to participate in the community, to answer questions, to be here, to be part of us, to make us feel like we can trust them, that, you know, I don't even want to say about trust. But the thing is, I think that clarification, that really helps, is all about just making 11 meetings, not who you are, not what you are. As you mentioned, we're all residents, we're all in here together. I think everyone in here has a lot of good friends, a lot of good times, but you don't have to live here full time. You just have to attend the meetings, which I think is important myself, that's a person.
Yes, yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for that clarification. Gentleman, Larry.
Larry Wazaleski, P154, P155. Okay, so the precedent was missed 3 meetings. So why was it changed to 1 meeting? And why does the board, you know, maybe they don't want to enforce it against one person. They want to enforce it against someone, maybe they don't want to be there on the board. And it was pretty clear to me, I think to most people, that It had nothing to do with part-time resident or full-time resident. The motion was pretty clear. So, okay, you don't agree with it, or you not necessarily will vote for it. We don't know until the time comes up. But,
Yes.
there are enough members on the board that were in favor of it. They can arbitrarily do it against one person and not another. So why did it get, who made the motion to invoke the 11-month rule, and who voted for it? That's probably the majority, obviously. So they can willy-nilly pick whoever they want to be off.
I would have to pass that on to the board as a whole. I was not appointed to the board for that.
Who said you made the motion?
Did Glenda, yeah,
I voted for it.
did you second it?
Yes, sir, and I'll
Okay.
explain that later. I'll explain why later when it's my turn.
So Glenda Corp had 3 votes. Did Bill, Chris, and Betty vote for that in favor?
I would have to either reference the minutes or ask the board as they're sitting here.
Okay, well, I guess regardless, the
Yes.
motion passed by majority, and it's arbitrary, and that's, Joanne's point, I believe. So either you fix it.
I completely agree with you. Yes, we need to have a equal, fair, and equitable set of standards across the community for the members and the ownership alike.
Thank you.
And I think we should move in that progress. There was another gentleman, this one, and then one more. Yes, sir.
Doug Elton, P110, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You said you was here 15 years. Why all of a sudden did you get involved now and not 12 years ago?
Because during the previous 14 years, I was a member of the active duty United States Marine Corps, and I spent all that time. I didn't have the time and the commitment to have, I'm not gonna do a job that I can half-ass. So,
Thank you for answering.
that's all it comes down to.
The next question is, have you, I don't know, you've been on acting for 6 months?
2 months, 3 months now.
So in those 2 months, have you ever voted against the majority of the board on anything?
We've only had 3 rather menial motions, one for a food truck, one for a sale of 0.32 acres. And I think that was the only actionable progress that we've made thus far.
Okay, so that even at 3.2 acres, so you agree with the majority on everything?
No, I do not. I agree with the ownership on everything. That's my position on the board, is to
You
agree
didn't agree
with
with the
the
ownership,
majority
you
ownership.
agree with the board, the ownership never got asked anymore.
Yes, I am agreeing with the board for the best actions of the ownership. We'll get right back to yours, Larry, and this gentleman here.
Fred Wagner, B101. I just want to say, I served on the board of Fort Lake, the Ozarks, which is owned by Malcolm Forbes in Lake, the Ozarks, Missouri. There's 4,000 members. And I was on the board there, and the 11-month rule was in effect there. If you were on the board, you had to attend 11 of the 12 meetings. If you missed 2 meetings a year, you were automatically off the board. That's pretty much standard procedure in that type of situation.
Okay, thank you. Larry?
Was that sale 3.2 acres, you said?
No, 0.32 acres. I apologize if I misspoke. Okay, without any other questions, I'm gonna pass it on to David Schaefer.
Okay. I want to thank everybody for showing up this morning. Going to start out a little bit different, but it seems like 11 months is the factor that turned a lot of you guys against me, which is fine. It's amazing that some of you have benefited since I've been on the board in ways that your roads were taken care of, things like that. On the 11-month rule, I don't care if you don't make the full 11 months. I really don't. And the reason I voted for that, back then, we did not have this technology set up to communicate with the outside world, all right? It was a fiasco. And I think you're saying 3 months, which, if you miss 3, I'm fine with that. If you can be available via technology. I think close to 6 months is a little bit out of hand. All right? If you had a business and you were away for 6 months or more, how would you know exactly, physically, what was going on? And at that time, like I said, it was a fiasco. I was getting phone calls, you gotta go up to the pool building, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta check out. Well, how do you know what the physical condition is over winter here if you're not physically here? And, it was just a fiasco. In fact, this young lady right here, at one meeting we had, told Ms. Freewall to shut up because they couldn't understand her on the phone. That's all I'm asking, is that we somehow physically communicate. If you're just lackadaisical and you're just missing meetings, then I think you should be thrown off the board. But you should also be here once in a while physically so you can see what's going on. That's in fact, I'll tell you how serious I was about having somebody here. At one meeting that Joyce showed up, she called me and I said, you have to get here if there's any way possible. So I offered to pick her up at the airport, which I did. She stayed at my house that meeting. She had food at my table. That's how committed I was to people physically being here and seeing what's going on. All right? If I'm gonna get hammered, that's fine. Like I said, I'm prepared to accept whichever way you guys go here today, and I'm okay with it. Larry?
If you think 6 months is a reasonable month, I think 3 months is a reasonable month also.
Yes.
Why did you vote for 11?
At that time, like I said, I was really disgusted with the way things were going communication-wise. And that is the only reason. It was not to keep anybody off the board. There are no homeowners here. There are no campers here. There are no mobile home people here. We're all property owners. We should all be treated equal.
Okay, so you say your emotions took over. Is that why you voted for 11 months instead of 6?
At that time, it was, yes.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes. Yes, sir.
The description of a board position, the job duties or whatever's on there, are you saying that you have to be physical? You have to do stuff like, I don't know, get in the tractor or plow as a board member?
No, I'm not saying that. Some of us do. Some of us enjoy doing
But
it.
that's not mandatory.
That is not mandatory at all. No, sir.
What's your name and what number?
Doug Ellis, P110.
But as long as I'm here, I will try to do my best. I tried to, not because I wanted a pat in the back or anything like that, but I tried to get involved with the Kimberly people. We had, conservation district down there to make sure nobody was gonna get hot water because they didn't have the proper permits and stuff. I offered to help get that culvert out, which I would still do, but, because people take things the wrong way or communicate on Facebook instead of coming to me face to face and asking me questions, I have nothing to hide. I will answer your questions. And as far as this, there seemed to be some miscommunications about these land sales. All right, back in December, there was a property up on Kendrick Road. Right? Someone built a garage over the line. So I was involved in the sale of that because they had their property up for sale. Gentleman paid $10,000 for a minimal strip of ground so he could sell his property. Right? A couple months ago, it was a 6-1 vote to sell 0.32 of an acre. That is actually unusable for anybody except the person on either side of that property. It is not a thoroughfare through your property. At the same time, we had a request up on Red Oak. Somebody wanted to buy a common ground strip up there. We turned that down because we're not in the business of just selling common ground. Now, if you figure that 0.32 of an acre, we got $16,000 for that. If you add that up for a full acre, that equates to $50,000. Okay, there were no relative discounts and stuff like that. It was a done deal. Yes, sir.
Was that held at a public meeting, the one in December and the one in June? And is it in minutes that are published for all the homeowners to see?
Yes, it is in the minutes. I think both deals are in the minutes. And the money was put into the general fund.
I've never seen an executive session meeting minutes posted on the POA website. So it's secret. Was there any conflicts of interest on that last sale? On first of all, you said the vote was what, 6-1?
Yes.
Was there any interested party or conflicts of interest that might be interest to own property owners?
Not unless you want to pay more than $16,000.
Whether it's good or bad is not the issue. It's transparency.
We talked about it in the meetings before the meeting here. As far as the public,
There was an executive session. Nobody would have known about it had I actually gone out and put myself into a hatred as a complainer. It should have been public. Nobody, if it's such a great deal, do it here. You got the video system now, do it in public. That's all I'm saying. And if it's such a good deal, you could have got credit for it.
I agree with you. It should have been publicized.
Okay.
There is nothing to hide.
Well, I disagree, but.
Well, and that's what happens on Facebook. Everybody takes their.
No, it's a fact. It's confirmed fact. You confirmed it. Sydney confirmed it. Just no more secret votes, please. That's all. That's all. That's how you gain distrust. Okay? That's all. Nothing personally against you. Just do it in public. Okay?
That's fine. I got no problem with that.
Okay, good.
And I really think, and I honestly believe that if Sydney and I could get on this board, you will see a difference in transparency and a difference in the budget, things like that.
I have a question. The second, home tract property that was denied, was it on a thoroughfare?
It went from road to road, and we decided we would not sell property like that away from any neighbor either side. This one comes to a point, and it's steep drop off behind. It was absolutely useless to anybody except the people that,
So if we want to buy one around the road, we'll come from all sorts, we can do it. A lot of it.
we would have to look at that, and
It's not a thoroughfare, it comes to a point.
we would have to look at that in a meeting and publicize the outcome.
But I'm just saying, thinking about you because there's nobody else. Well, if we wanted to have an extra ground, there should be no problem with us. That's all I'm asking, is it should be done. We buy.
You have an equal opportunity to bring that to the board, and like I said, we could.
Prove it, that's what I'm saying, I guess about something, you're to prove it because it's not thoroughfare, you don't want it. So it's, that's the point, so it's a done deal. It's not very big.
I'm not gonna make a promise right now, but it probably would be a possibility, okay?
Right.
Jeffrey?
Jeff Lockwood, T186. Am I correct in stating or assuming that the executive sessions are by the board that's gotten elected to make the votes in our trust and our well-being for our betterment on the decisions that you feel in governing the purposes why the board is even here? So the thing of being transparent, you have to go back to the beginning of time when anybody was given a position from the president on down. We don't hear everything. It's because we voted somebody in. Just because CNN isn't here doesn't mean they have to. So thank you for taking your votes. Thank you for taking everyone's best interest in part. And
So get rid of the bylaws, get rid of everything.
I mean, did you stand up and raise your hand?
No,
Okay, but we'll take my time. Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joyce Mock, 751 and 752. I have a question. Since this has been touched on with the mystery meetings, being a parent, not a parent to a lot of people, and the board meetings are so important to be at, and you people have your executive meetings, why is it then that not everyone holding a board position attends those meetings or were invited to those meetings? We were already discussed this at another meeting, last one, as to why certain things happened. And I know personally it was said that Joyce, who sits up there as an equal board member, was not included in those meetings. I find that appalling, that any one of you would attend those meetings when she didn't be invited to be there. She's an equal board member. What's the answer? I find that horrible. Any of the meetings that Joyce was not involved in, asked to come to. Joyce, you had said at the last one that you were not included on the meeting?
On buying certain things for the community here, I had no idea.
You were not invited to come to the meeting. Why?
There wasn't, I don't think there was a meeting. There was no comment. I'm not
There was
sure.
never an executive meeting ever held
I know,
that you weren't contacted and you were involved in.
not the executive meetings, when you guys bought the leaf blower, you know, I had nothing.
That wasn't a meeting. It wasn't a
No,
meeting.
not meetings,
It wasn't a meeting.
between the board, okay? I knew nothing about that, I knew nothing about selling the red SUV, and I knew nothing about the truck. All I'm saying is,
Well, then
you
she's
know, I
not
should have been.
included in all this information. I don't understand.
Truck, for one thing, the truck, remember I had the motion to buy a new truck.
Right,
You shot that down. You said we should buy a used one
right.
and go to an auction about it. You made that decision. You found a truck, a perfectly good truck at a very good deal. There was no call on the board members to make a determination. We already determined it at the public meeting, which was your idea, and we went out and bought the truck. Now, the leaf blower, there was no meeting on that. I thought you were going to, be honest.
And same with the red SUV.
Well,
All I'm saying.
Yeah, I think going forward, I mean, it's very
There was
appalling
never
to hear
a meeting
this.
or
No,
anything
yeah.
that you were not involved in. I made sure.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't meetings, it was in the process of buying things.
Well, every board member should be involved in purchasing or spending any of that money. It should all be brought up. Everybody should know.
I believe I had permission to spend $11,000 to $15,000 on the vehicle, and I did.
Yes.
I didn't need to run around and show everybody.
That's just
I
one
didn't
thing with
move
the
to
truck.
bill. Just so happened Bruce was available the day I went to go look at the third vehicle. And I bought it. It wasn't hidden, it wasn't secret. I had approval to do everything.
For the truck.
I did, yes. And actually, I had approval for the first truck.
It would just be nice going forward if everybody knew everything.
Huh?
It would just be nice going forward if it was out there, everybody would know. nothing's secretive
It
anymore.
wasn't, there was nothing secret about it.
There's been a lot of secrecy about a lot of things, and that's why the hard feelings are
And
building
also,
between all the
I guess I
people.
bought a Hummer that you guys are aware of.
The same with even today's vote. Today's vote, why is it that the vote counts have to be kept in the kitchen? I don't understand that.
I don't see it. I don't know, is there a problem with counting right?
We have no counter here.
Doug, you have a, I do, and I don't want to pick on Dave, so I just want to ask, before the vote goes back, I have a question for the main vote, that's not for Dave, sorry. Yes. Joyce.
First of all, why did you have to ask so many questions?
Here.
Not like one question type thing, and I thought executive, meetings were private meetings.
They are.
Aren't supposed to be open to the public. And everyone's been completely transparent here. People are here to vote, we can't vote.
Right.
There's all this arguing, and all can have all this opposition, why don't you run your vote forward?
Tracy Bradford, S523. I make a motion that we continue with the voting process and save the discussion for board level meeting.
Thank you.
So you're very welcome.
I'll second that.
One more here.
You were talking about the common ground for sale. I've been here for 33 years, and our common ground should not be for sale.
Very quick question, regarding why common ground is put in. Some common ground is put in because we have to have access to the utilities. We might have to get in there, we might have to clean out a sewer line. In the campground, you have 11-foot openings and cul-de-sacs. The purpose of that is so that people can pass from one circle to another, down those 11-foot openings and go from one circle to the other without trespassing. So basically what happens when common ground becomes available, the board has the prerogative to make a decision to sell or not sell. In my opinion, they have made some very prudent decisions in regard to that sale, and it's done on a case-by-case basis. That being said, it's my understanding that the candidate representatives have all been selected. I need two things. I need somebody to volunteer as an overseer of the election. Are there any volunteers for that?
That's not quite.
Okay, thank you, Lou. The other thing is, I need two people to volunteer to collect the ballots once the balloting is done. Basically, walk around. Okay, I have one there, I need one more. Okay, thank you. Now back to the election.
Well, I'd like to say something before we go, but since stuff was brought up.
Everybody can join, stop except Joyce.
Okay.
Let's vote.
Voting process. Number one, we're going to use a blue ballot. Number two, for safety purposes, disregard what it says on one side of the election, with Bill and Betty and Chris on that side. You do not want to cast a vote for that. If you do, it's void. You are voting one time for these three people on a blue ballot. Very important. Use your blue ballot and vote for one. This is for the 3-year term. Who is making Dave Schaefer? Dave Schaefer, 3 years. Okay, time to vote.
Sorry, Joyce.
It's like a hot tamale to me.
Yes,
Trying to get you out of here as quickly as we can. I have 3 announcements to make. This weekend, the Girl Scouts are running a campaign to raise money for animals. And a collection basket has been placed down at the SWAT site where the mailroom is. So any contribution to that would be greatly appreciated. On the rec side of things, there is a petting zoo this afternoon at 2 o'clock at the Dutch Run Oval Pavilion. So if you have any kitties, or actually if you're an animal lover, go on down and visit that. And this evening right here, there is a bingo at 7 o'clock p.m. You're all welcome to attend. I've also been told by volunteers in the kitchen that last time I checked, there were 2 ballots that were invalid because somebody voted for 2 people on the blue ballot. You can't do that. You can only vote for 1. All right, as you can see, the first round of balloting, the vote counts on the board. I'd like to congratulate Dave Schaefer. Next order of business, Lou, is there any question in regard to the validity of this count?
No.
No, okay. That being said, I'm gonna get Dave off of there, and we're gonna consider two more people. One to be the winner, either Sidney Shamfeld or Gus. And remember, you're voting for one person.
Everybody vote in? Everybody got your vote in? Vote in?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention again? We're going to continue with the meeting on reports from committees. I need you to know that Andrea Hendrickson, who is our pool host and also operates our bingo, she's a little shy and doesn't have a report to do today, but I'd like to publicly thank her. Additionally, Jack Hickson, who is our architectural committee chairman, another thankless job. No matter what he decides, he's wrong. He's shy, and he isn't there and doesn't have a report, but I'd like to publicly thank him for his efforts. Something you don't know, a lot of people came to us after our road improvements were done this year and said the dust is horrible, and of course we know that. Up front, would you please stand? Tell them what you did.
So I work for a European lubricant company, and I talked to some folks and got a 275 gallon tote of dust suppressant material donated to the community here as a trial. I actually had to drive and go pick it up myself because they sent in the wrong one. Drove down almost to West Virginia to get it. But hopefully when they went through, someone went on the roads and noticed a difference. It seemed to make a big difference where I saw it was put down. I mean, I'd love some feedback if it works. Talk to them. I don't know what it was. I know they did a little piece on the branch from they did Falcon.
Up by Fuji Park and around that area up there.
Yeah.
By the way, you're looking at Nathan Lachine. Thank you very much, Nathan. Now we have our recreational committee people. Anita, do you want to say anything?
She wants to talk first. She's older. Thank you.
For the past 4 years, myself, Dave, Rick and Anita have taken charge of the adult and children's recreation activities. In January, we really have to have our schedule approved. We've made some changes over the last year. And unfortunately, we are going to step down after this year. Oh, yeah, so, we've enjoyed it, but I think it's time to move on. Maybe you can get some different people here with different ideas. It's very hard to come up with new ideas. I have kept a journal of, how many eggs we buy, how much it costs for each activity, the context for the band. And so, yes, we, anyone that would be interested, I would say get in touch with the office, and then we would sit down with them, and we will continue our activities till the end of the year.
Thank you.
I just want to add a little bit that we did enjoy, and we are enjoying, the families we have met. They've been wonderful, and I'm going to be sad to leave, especially I love the kids. I do have to comment on one thing though, that in this year, we have seen a decrease in our activity, the shows for our activities. So again, when she says that she has everything, when she has cost efficiency of everything at home, and I did a lot of the activities, I too will pass everything on. But I think they're gonna have to reevaluate activities up here because, each his own, but we're seeing that we're kind of wasting some food because we're not getting it. But I'm gonna give this to Tom, and then if he wants to have this open meeting, once people wanna join, we'll sit down and we'll go over everything with you. But, people wanna come up here and enjoy solitaire and no fuss and whatever, but we're a little disappointed on a few of the activities that, like, we had somebody do the show for our DCNR, and now they're not coming back out. But anyway, thank you, everyone, because you've been really great and fun, so thanks for all the fun time.
Okay, then for the record, may the minutes show that Bill Barnhart was elected on behalf of the Glendale Corporation, and Dave Schaefer and Sidney Shanfeld are elected to a 3-year term and a 2-year term. Two more items of interest. Again, I have to validate that election count. So, Lou, was there any question in your mind as the validity of the election count?
No.
Okay. One more thing. That being said, do I have a motion to destroy the ballots?
I make a motion. Anita Elba, second. Anita Elba, H Street.
Do I have a second?
Second. James, you must.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Old business, do we have any old business? New business, do we have any new business? Comments from the floor? Yes, ma'am. No more discussion, and then we'll talk about the tree cut. No, not that's discussion. Was still was what states. Change.
Commercial guy.
Not really. Well, if you complain, be addressed. Address security, address. But in all honesty, if you make noise at 10 in the morning, you disturb your neighbor. I have to tell you quiet down, no matter if it's 6 o'clock at night or 10 in the morning. You disturb or making noise, somebody complains about it. He has to quiet down. Any other questions? Yeah, sorry.
We can protocol, to be honest with you. I don't have a problem with count, but for record keeping purposes, normally you would keep them for a certain period of time, 2 years, 3 years, something like that. Yes. Even though you voted to destroy these ballots, what we'll actually do is destroy last year's ballots. Keep these in secret.
What's your number?
That's 506.
Anybody else? Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a second. Meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Yeah.